My husband lashed out at me. What should I do? So my husband, 33M, and I, 28F, have been together for 5 years but married for 3 years. We have a 1-year-old daughter together. Last night we went over to a friend's house to meet their new baby. We took our 1-year-old with us. While I was holding the new baby, my daughter was starting to crawl toward the fireplace. The fireplace was not on but does have a step that our daughter could hit her face on, and I could see it happening. I told my husband, watch, she's going by the fireplace. He didn't move and the fireplace was within reaching distance of where he was sitting. I repeated myself 3x. Shortly, he freaks out on me and raised his voice, fine, leave me alone. OMG, I was so embarrassed because this was in front of our 2 friends and their 2 friends. Regardless, in front of people, alone, in others' houses, or in our house, he shouldn't be talking to me like this. I was really upset and embarrassed. The room got quiet. I immediately handed the new baby off to his mama and pulled my husband aside to ask what that was. He played the he's not wrong game and I was nagging him. We didn't talk on the ride home. When we got home, I put our baby to sleep and took a shower. When we were in bed, he apologized to me and tried to cuddle me. I asked him to back off and to really understand that that was extremely inappropriate and that it was a major turn off. I actually think if we weren't married or had a family together, I would start distancing myself from him. I didn't like that embarrassment he made me feel. I didn't like his rage either. Now I am turned off by him. On top of it, I am the more affectionate one in our relationship. I feel regret for trying all these pastimes to be pushed away. I promised him last night that I'm not going to initiate any kind of affection anymore. He talks to me like that after I work a full-time job, cook and clean up, do bath time for our baby, tries to squeeze in some outdoor time for her, do laundry, housework, doctor apps, grocery shopping, etc. He's a great dad, but I do the bulk of the work. Him talking to me and making me feel that way makes me not want to do any of it, except take care of my daughter. What do I do at this point? And #X200B. Too long did not read. At a friend's house, my husband just about yelled at me in front of people because he wasn't watching our daughter. It's now the next day. What do I do about this? And #X200B. Edit. My husband works nights and is tired. He does watch my daughter during the day, but most of the time his mother comes from 9:03 p.m. I don't doubt his love for our daughter or worry about her safety when SHES with him. Maybe this is more of an issue with him as a partner and less of him as a father. He talks to me like that after I work a full-time job, cook and clean up, do bath time for our baby, tries to squeeze in some outdoor time for her, do laundry, housework, doctor apps, grocery shopping, etc. He's a great dad, but I do the bulk of the work. What are you going to do about your real problem? And what will you do if your husband doesn't change? He's a great dad, but I do the bulk of the work. Do you not see the contradiction in this statement? Many men do the bare minimum in their marriages and for their partners because their partners allow it. There are no negative consequences to the way he is now, so why would he change? Stop giving him affection he has not earned. Stop picking up his slack. Stop chasing after his validation. Sit down with him and make him face 3 inequality in your marriage. If he gets angry and upset about it, do not comfort him. Shrug and reschedule the meeting for the next day, when he's calmer, or hire a therapist. He's not a great dad if he can't be bothered to keep an eye on his daughter or do anything to care for her. Also verbally abusing her mother in public. I think you both need a mediator, therapist to move past this. He could have said, "I've got this," or, "She's fine," with a tone of irritation that lets you know when you're coming on too strong. But no, he went nuclear, cussing you out in front of friends and 2 people you barely know. He not only owes you an apology, he owes all of them an apology. I don't blame you for being turned off. Who wants to cuddle with someone who insulted and humiliated you publicly? And only apologizes when you're in bed? Gross. You need to make time for a therapist. You might have control issues, but he's got some rage issues. Although he's happy to let you do the bulk of the house, baby work, I'd have the therapist weigh in on division of labor too. If you do the bulk of the work, he is not a great dad. You have no shame or embarrassment to feel. It's all on him and everyone else in that room knows it. Don't take on the shame and embarrassment of other people's behavior. Nothing you did perfect in letting him know not to ever do that again. Hold him to that and don't stop being affectionate, dude. Promise it won't get you what you want. You're doing a lot of work, keep doing what's right regardless. Don't stop keeping things clean. That's good for your mental health. I promised him last night that I'm not going to initiate any kind of affection anymore. Without physical affection, the primate need for bonding goes unmet and won't lead anywhere good. If you want your marriage to survive, rethink your promise. If you don't want it to work out, then file for divorce ASAP. Good for you. Make him ducking no. He doesn't actually do much parenting, it sounds like. Your mill does it for him when you're not there. So yeah, this is a significant a parenting issue. He may have ignored you because he truly didn't understand she could have been in danger because he's not used to actually watching her. He ignored your child when she was in danger, and he was rude and disrespectful to you in front of others. Is he always this shitty as a partner? Lady, your edit makes me concerned for you. He is a shit and a burden to you. Stop defending him. Most men aren't like this. Why do you let him treat you like a servant? Great dad but I do the bulk of the work sounds like an oxymoron to me. This is clearly not about the snapping at you, this about 1,000 other things that you're also angry and resentful about. It's time to address all of them. Your husband embarrassed you in public but apologized in private. That is a bullshit maneuver. You should make him apologize to your friends for being disrespectful and overreacting. You should tell him that if he ever berates you again in public you will not react in private. Maybe you should reevaluate your own behavior first. Was he not watching her or was he not watching her the way you wanted him to? Do you find yourself correcting him at home too? You do all of the work with the kids while he's doing all of the work to provide for you all, and at night to boot. I don't think either of you are wrong. I think that these first few years with a small child, let alone multiple small children, are more than harrowing. This is not a red flag, IMO. I've had bigger disagreements with my wife, have seen such events many times in many families, couples, and while it wasn't enjoyable to be around, it doesn't impress me at all. In fact, I would say that if I didn't see a dispute in a couple, it most likely means I don't know them very well. As long as you speak about it, express your feelings and come to an understanding, you'll get through it, no doubt. You feel you're doing more than your fair share. We don't have his side of the story, but at the very least, such a feeling cannot stay unaddressed for long. This will only grow into resentment. If someone says the same thing to me 4 times in a row in under 2 minutes, I'd fucking murder them. While I think your husband was inappropriate, I probably would have reacted the same way. You either thought he was deaf or knew you could do it better, in which case get off your fucking ass and do it yourself. I don't think he should have cussed or he should have raised his voice, but I don't think you should have said that to him either. You could for an example have just went and taken her yourself, but he shouldn't have cussed at you. I also think that distancing you from him is a bit overreacting, and if you really are upset, try to tell him exactly how you felt about it and try coming up with a solution. Sounds like a one-time mistake, it was inappropriate for sure, but it sounds like he just lost his cool and went off. I wouldn't put too much stock into it. Just let him know how you feel about it and ask him to work on his temper. Everyone loses their shit once in a while and makes mistakes. It sounds like he recognized it after the fact and apologized. I promised him last night that I'm not going to initiate any kind of affection anymore. This is emotional blackmail and abusive. Long term this will lead to horrible results. Don't do this. Yikes. You also don't want him speaking that way in front of his daughter. I'm so sorry, that's terrible, and you have every reason to start distancing yourself unless he makes some big changes. Also, why isn't he taking more care of his daughter instead of leaving most of the work to you? Would he be capable of caring for her if you went away for a day or two to take some time for yourself? He's a great dad, but I do the bulk of the work. Is he a great dad, then? I don't have a child or anything, but I would assume it's a very stressful thing for both you and your husband, and it's like you said he works nights. So he could have just lashed out at you because he is overstressed. I'm sure he didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings. I think after tempers have cooled, talk to him again. Say that the way he spoke to you really hurt you and embarrassed you. You were scared for the baby and he lost his temper at you, and that wasn't cool, so he should apologize. If he feels he did nothing wrong and tries to turn it around on you, then I see larger issues here and counseling is in order. You're right to be upset that he yelled in front of people, but you were pretty much calling him a lousy father in front of people also. He was watching your kid and right there. You didn't need to keep telling him about it. You both were wrong. This is the first time he's gotten loud with me in 5 years. You go to Reddit to ask how to react. He's your husband and people have bad days. I can't believe you took the time to post this. I'm getting the impression there is more to this story that you are leaving out. If this was really the first time he freaked out at you, like I feel like it's probably a stress-related reaction. Probably a lot of built-up pressure between work and home stuff. If he doesn't have a good way to work it off, it's probably been building a while. I find your response more interesting, however. He yells once and you turn off all affection for him. Seems a little disproportionate. Which leads me think either this wasn't the first time he has freaked, or you're leaving out details on your end of the story. Lashing out, not helping, not hearing what you are really saying, not appreciating you. This is not healthy for you. You deserve to feel respected and valued, even if that means being alone with your daughter. Take some time to really think about what you want your life to look like and take action. You are never trapped, and your happiness, your daughter's happiness, should trump all else. So, the whole situation comes down to communication. I get that you're both busy parents and you shouldn't have been lashed out. He apologized. That's a good start. Now you can approach and tell him how it made you felt. Key: communicate. Your husband doesn't seem like a bad guy from what you said. You don't seem like a bad wife like you said. Maybe something's up with your husband, and he just had anger. Which he should have communicated with you, and as you should communicate with him. We aren't getting the full backstory and nuance. It sounds like you need marriage counseling, and this is far above Reddit's pay grade. I wouldn't appreciate being talked to this way ever. I don't think anyone would. How long has he been pushing you away? I read this as he's not happy in the relationship anymore. And you shouldn't have to take his attitude because he doesn't know how to communicate like an adult. Read that again. A great dad watches his children. He does not throw all the burden on his wife. A good father helps his wife, which in turn shows love toward his whole family. He's not a good father, he's an at my convenience dad. He has to watch his children, period. What will happen when he's by himself with that baby? He should seek counseling to help him manage his anger, and honestly he should also call your hosts to apologize. That's awful. I'm sorry.